Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League Point Predictor, the series where I select 5 players that I believe will score 4 points or more in the upcoming FPL Gameweek. Within these selections, I must include one defensive option, alongside 2 midfielders and 2 forwards, with one of each of those having to be valued below the price of 8 million. Also, I'm limited to choosing just one player per team.
As always, before we go ahead and make predictions for Game Week 36, let's take a very quick look back at Game Week 35's Point Predictor and see how I got on there. So a more than pleasing 4 out of 5 correct selections last week, with Rondon being the pick of the bunch and returning 9 points against Liverpool. What a prediction that turned out to be. Unfortunately, Aubameyang was dropped to the bench in Game Week 35, but he still managed to scrape through with an assist. Be sure to drop a like on the video and also hit subscribe as a little reward for the 4 out of 5 correct predictions last week. And whilst you're doing that, I'll move on now to Game Week 36's Point Predictor. As we all know this season, clean sheets are hard to come by and are certainly difficult to predict. Looking at the stats, I've landed on Newcastle and I'm selecting Jamal Lascelles. Newcastle's run of 4 consecutive wins finally came to an end on Monday night, with Everton edging past them 1-0. We can't let this distract us from how well Newcastle have done lately though, particularly in defence, only conceding 3 goals in their last 5 games. Even more impressive is their home defensive record, where they've conceded just 16 goals there all season. That's less than a goal conceded per game, and 3 of their last 4 home games have been clean sheets. To help matters further, they face West Brom in Game Week 36, and although they've improved a bit recently, they still remain the league's worst goal scorers away from home, with just 9 scored all season. It's rare that I'm confident of a clean sheet in the FPL, and this game is no different. But with these stats in mind, I'd say that Newcastle's chances do look good, and if I owned one of their defenders, I'd be feeling pretty good about it this game week. For the budget midfielder, I'm making a bit of a risky choice and selecting Jesse Lingard. Last week's pick, Wilfried Zaha, was certainly a strong contender again here, and choosing Lingard is a risk simply because he's not 100% guaranteed to start. But here's my thinking. Manchester United play Arsenal at home in Game Week 36, and as we all know, Arsenal are still yet to pick up a single away point in 2018. Simply put, they've been abysmal away from home, and their record away to United in particular is no better. Significantly, Arsenal's vital Europa League games sit either side of this Game Week 36, and I'd expect Wenger to be resting some of his better players. This, coupled with the fact that Mourinho always seems to get the better of Wenger, I can only see one winner in this game. Jesse Lingard bagged himself 2 goals against Arsenal earlier in the season too, in the reverse of this fixture, so I just have a feeling about him. This week's any priced midfielder is a bit of a shield pick, and there's no prizes for guessing who it is, after a quite simply sensational display in the Champions League midweek. Granted, there's no guarantees here that the Egyptian king will even start the game at home to Stoke, but on current form, Salah could still end up returning points even with a 30-minute cameo. I have no doubt that Salah will play some part in this game, as he looks to break goal-scoring records in this wonderful season of his. The question is, how long will he get? Liverpool are at home to Stoke in Game Week 36, a team on the brink of relegation who are going to need all 3 points. Whether they like it or not, Stoke will have to go for this, and a draw won't do. So could this leave them a little bit exposed at the back? To reiterate, we don't know how much Salah will feature in this game, but you'd have to be a brave manager not to own him for Game Week 36. For the budget forward, I'm giving Ashley Barnes a first appearance in the Point Predictor this season. Certainly not a player I expected to be selecting in this series, but the Burnley striker has been in excellent and consistent form for a good few weeks now. He's returned FPL points in 6 of the last 8 game weeks, scoring 1 goal in each of those 6 games. He's yet to score more than once in any game, so he's not exactly prolific, but 1 goal is more than enough for the Point Predictor as he faces Brighton at home. His opponents Brighton will certainly be a tough test, having to fight for their Premiership survival, but they're currently on a very poor run of form, especially away from home, where they haven't won on the road since November, losing 7 and drawing 3 since then. For the any priced forward, it's back to relying on Harry Kane to deliver the goods this game week. Without including his infamous claimed goal that he took from Eriksen, Kane had actually gone 5 games without a goal, before finally finding the net against Brighton last weekend. He hasn't hit double-figure returns for a while now and has certainly dipped in form. But here's to hoping that his goal against Brighton can finally kickstart him back into being an FPL must-have. Harry Kane faces Watford at home next, and on paper there's no better opponents to be playing to smash in a few goals. Watford are currently the worst formed team in the Premier League, with 2 draws and 4 defeats in their last 6 games. Away from home they have really struggled, losing 9 and drawing 1 of their last 10 trips on the road and conceding 20 goals within those games. This includes shipping 3 against Man City, 3 against Arsenal and 5 against Liverpool. With these kind of numbers, Kane could well and truly be back in Game Week 36, or at least he should be. So that's it for this week's Point Predictor. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it entertaining. If you did, get subscribed to the channel for weekly FPL content and be sure to drop a like as well. Good luck to every single one of you for Game Week 36, and I look forward to catching up with you next week.